Right. Thank you very much, Representative Sanchez, and I'll follow Senator McCrory's instructions to limit it to 2 questions. As a newbie, I don't want to get in trouble. I follow instructions. And
I'm watching you. I'm back. I'm listening.
So my first question has to deal with the teachers shortage. And so 2 components to that is, I think it's Connecticut General Statute 10183V, which says a retired member, either a teacher or administrator, can only be compensated at 45% of the maximum full-time annual salary for the rate of the assigned position. In the short term, with COVID, with the shortages, do we potentially want to change that? And I would love to get the commissioner and the Department of Education's take on that. And also folding into that question is the issue of accreditation standards. And would we want to, in the short term, potentially waive some of those accreditation standards for new teachers, not retired teachers, just in the near term, just so we can get some new potential options and build a bigger talent pool for teachers, as I know a lot of school districts, including Fairfield, are struggling with bringing in new teachers.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so Dr. Tucker's here, and I'm going to ask her to jump in also. She leads our Chief Talent Office with certification and some of the flexibilities. To your first point, the 45%, yes, definitely. That would be extremely helpful. I know I've heard from many superintendents that they would hope that that could be looked at this year, because it allows for a wider pool. It's a legislative, obstacle to having folks that have retired to come in 100%. So that would help. And then to the second point, I'll turn over to Shawana about the flexibilities that are available to widen the pool of folks. As you point out, Representative Farnen, staffing is an issue, especially if at times we have people quarantining for 2 weeks. And it's difficult. I'll be very frank with you, as an educator for over 20 years, this time of year, it's hard to get substitutes. In December and November, December, it's going to be very difficult to get substitutes. So adding a pandemic to it and trying to limit the number of buildings that one person visits, it's going to complicate things further. So we're trying to be as flexible as possible with our certification. So Shawana.
Thank you, Commissioner. And yes, Representative, to answer your question, I would say regarding the 45%, that is strictly a TRB rule. And I would definitely say if you all wanted to take up that charge to look at changing that or upping that percentage from 45 to maybe 65, I think it would be welcomed by many, because we have received a lot of feedback about that, especially since the pandemic has begun, as to, well, I want to return, but the 45% just doesn't cut it for me. So it's making me really think about not returning. So we would definitely be supportive of that from our standpoint. I think that would work in favor during this time. And regarding more bodies in the classrooms, teachers, working with superintendents in districts almost on a constant basis, trying to assist them with resources. And with teachers, we have afforded flexibilities, and we put out information around substitutes, as well as we're looking at creative ways now. And I've been in conversation with many of the deans as to how we can work with our colleges to place students that are education majors in experiential learning experiences sooner in their career than later, meaning as early as the sophomore year for them in college. So we have a program that we are seeking to pilot very, very soon. We're working quickly to make that happen, and hoping that we will have a full rollout by January. And it allows the students to work within a district for 2.5 days per week under the guidance of a certified teacher. And however, we still want the student to focus on their schoolwork and their career work, but there are other parts to that. 2 students assigned to one classroom to provide consistency to the teacher as well as the students, and they get paid, because we know that many of our students do need, and they are working part-time jobs already. So this would assist them financially, as well as give them the experiential learning, as well as help our districts and our students at the same time to help to fill some of the gaps. So believe it or not, this week, even though we haven't officially launch the program, I've already had conversations with 3 deans that have reached out to me about this issue and how can we make this work so that we can put more bodies into the classrooms. And the bodies would be students who are in the field, not just anybody. And so that's what we're working on, trying to assist our districts as best as possible to fill that gap.
Thank you, Representative Farnen, for that question. You know, this is an example where this pandemic has forced us to be innovative and really push the boundaries of what we've typically done. What she just described right now, prior to the pandemic, would have taken years to just develop. So I'm glad that, you know, it's a start. And as she mentioned, now other deans are looking at this and saying, how could we do this too? And hopefully that's something that post-pandemic we can keep.
Thank you very much.